Okay, Gina.
Hello.
Hi. Hi. I have 23 questions for you. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. First of all, and I like this because I don't know where to draw the margins in your chapbook with us, but I'm wondering, do you write in book margins?
I do not, but I love when I pick up a used book and I see people's writing in book margins because it's fun for me to see what people think about when they're reading it, but I don't. Yeah.
Why? Why?
I feel like at this point in my life, I I think it could just be like not wanting to. It could be a vulnerability thing. I was gonna say like I don't want to like ruin the book or somehow deface the property, but honestly, it might be like ooh, if I'm adding my thoughts here, it could be like a vulnerability thing, maybe.
Oh, I never
Oh,
thought about it like that. Love that.
maybe.
What's the last great film that you saw?
Well, I have two small kids, and I would say it's probably Encanto.
Yeah. I have a nephew and a niece, and so all we talk about is Encanto. Yeah,
Yeah, and even if I didn't have two small kids, I'd probably say just because I love musicals and I also love Disney.
yeah,
So yeah,
same.
it's a good one.
Oh yeah. Um, do you sing in the shower? And if so, what song?
Oh, what song? That's a good question. I do sing in the shower, especially if, I live in Portland and it's often gray. But I don't know. Sometimes I just make up my own lyrics, like what's going on today as like a way of like getting through my schedule and I'll make a song out of it or a song off the top of my head right now.
I love like singing to narrate. That fits perfectly with you love musicals. You're just like singing, narrating your day. Beautiful, love it. Um, Tell me one poet who has been a major influence on you.
Yeah. I think this is a two-part question. This is one of those currently versus like over the past little bit. I would say
Yeah.
Sylvia Plath in terms of um, the last little bit, in terms of like looking at her life experiences and parallels and whatnot. Most recently, Nastasha Minto. She's a Portland-based poet who's dear to my heart, and I would say her.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great choices. I have already been warned that you're weary of things that are favorites. So I hesitate to ask this, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Do you have a favorite word right now? What's your favorite word?
Oh, favorite word. I can't think of a favorite word right now, but it's interesting. Like, I think about when I started my writing process, and somebody who was really pivotal for me was my sixth grade teacher. And I was writing something about being thirsty. And she came up and she read over what I was reading. And she was like, what if you use the word quench here? And I had never, like, I don't know if I hadn't heard that word, but that honestly sparked kind of my love for words and the way that we can describe things in different ways. So maybe quench.
I
I'll go
love
with that.
that.
I'll go with that today.
I think mine is thirsty, but that just says something about me. Um, what time of the day do you get most of your writing done?
Evening. Yeah, I think pre-kiddos, it probably would have just been throughout the day. Like I was very much like something sparked, I would just scribble it. But during the waking hours, like the sun time, I'm not really in that space. I'm more in mom space. And then when they go to sleep, it's like, all right, let the moon influence and inspire.
Love that. I'm so curious because in Porta Potty Rebirth, the writing and the visuals are innately tied together. Do you work on them at the same time when you're writing a work like this, or are they
Oh.
you write something and then add the visuals, or vice versa?
That's I think it depended on the pieces, because some of them were already written. And then once I decided I wanted it to be like a visual collection, then I kind of like looked at how I could fit that in. But some of them, like the one where there's me driving in a car and then like a boombox, those came together. I'm trying to think of some other ones that also came together. Probably the one that talked about like the womb being seized with the uterus, and then I'm like, yeah. So it really depended on the pieces, but I would say most of them came together, the visual and then the words, kind of like a symbiotic. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. What about reading? What time of the day do you read the most?
Oh man, that's something I wish I could fit more in, but I would say probably in the evening also, when I have the time to do it, just because I work also. But yeah, the evening hours are when I get my free time.
What are you reading right now?
I had a birthday in March, and one of my friends gave me Nikki Giovanni's A Good Cry. So that's kind of what I'm going through right now. Yeah, a lot of times when I have more free time, I will find myself reading multiple books. But at this point in my life, because things outside of creativity are very busy, yeah, I'm more focused on one thing at a time.
Usually I ask here pen or pencil, but I feel like the writing implement question becomes a bit more loaded here. First of all, what did you use when you were putting together a Porta Potty Rebirth?
Oh, I definitely used pen.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say there were many drafts because except so the drafts were like, I would come up with the images, and obviously that was one thing, is it's like it is in my handwriting and I just wanted it to flow. And that's like, I'm sorry everybody, you have to read my kind of chicken scratch because it is in my handwriting. But I just let it flow with the pen and hoped it all turned out okay, and went back and redid some, but I also felt very compelled to kind of just let it be what it was going to be and how it came. I guess the word I'm thinking of is like channeled, kind of how it channeled through me.
I keep just nodding and forgetting that you can't see me do that, but I was nodding quite a bit there. Is this how you write generally, this visual and confessional writing combo, or was this like an experiment for you?
Yeah, this was definitely an experiment for me. That it's interesting that you say that, because I was also thinking about this, going back to my 6th grade teacher who was pretty influential to me, that she introduced this style of poetry, which is like combining I'm sure there's an official word for it, where you combine the words and sometimes wrap the words around an image. And that was the first time I ever did that. And I feel like when I was in this place of trying to heal and find meaning, that is what felt really good to me at that point. Getting back to kind of my writing origins and tapping into that. But it's not usually where I operate. Yeah, I actually, like, the projects I have in the works are like, I have a longer fictional story and like a longer form memoir sort of thing going on. So it's kind of varied.
Very cool. I mean, we talked about it a bit at the launch, but it really kind of blew us out of the water seeing a submission like this. At first we were like, let's really focus on Canadian authors. I want to focus on Canadian authors. And then we just like couldn't not accept that it was kind of a shock to our system, I think.
Thank you. Wow.
Yeah, that's not a question. That's just me talking to you.
I felt so honored, even just on Sunday, to be in the space of so many like beautiful Canadian writers. Like that was just, it was nice. I mean, Portland's got really amazing authors too, but it's just nice to tap into other communities, and it just made me feel even more honored that like you all chose this project. Violet is coming to say hi. This is my friend.
Hello. Oh, hi, Violet. Oh,
Hi,
oh
sweetie.
gosh, what a sweetheart. Cool that you asked that, because I did want to ask, like, what is the Portland literary scene like right now?
I think right now it's just slowly coming back to life
Mhm.
with the pandemic, and we're seeing more places veering away from like Zoom, because there were a lot of Zoom readings. Um, yeah, like Powell's is a big bookstore in Portland, and they're starting to redo their readings, which is really beautiful because that's always kind of a magical time to go to the readings there. Yeah, we're slowly seeing things open up, and hopefully that's a good thing, and not that we're gonna get back to a place of sick
Oh gosh,
people
I hope
getting sick.
so.
Yeah. Hmm.
Um, I mean, the other fun, this is going to sound like lazy as a publisher, but I mean it in the best and most like giving the mic to our authors way possible. But one thing that was great about publishing a Porta Potty Rebirth is we like didn't have to typeset anything. You did the pages already designed and beautiful, and you did the cover already designed and beautiful.
Hmm.
First of all,
Thank
this is a
you.
two-part question. One,
Okay.
do you have a favorite right now book cover, like a book that you see the cover and you're like, oh my gosh, I love that cover?
Oh, this is a little bit biased because I'm very well connected to this author. Just Lydia Yuknovich is a Portland-based author, also best known, or what is it called? Best selling. But she has a book coming out right now in June called Thrust. And it's this person, it looks like a statue, like riding on top of a sea turtle. And it's just an amazing image that's very captivating. So I don't have it on me because the book hasn't come out, but I've seen the cover, and it's just, yeah, I would
Well,
encourage
we'll
folks to check that out.
we'll link to it on the page. Gap Riot has a soft spot for sea turtles. Our first season had a book with a sea turtle cover. So, and that was because of
Yeah.
like our very good friend who has since passed away, who was like obsessed with sea turtles. So it's like
Mm.
so yeah, that means something that you said that. I love that.
Yeah, good. Yeah, it's same. I love sea turtles. I feel like just everything they inhabit, they're hard shell, but also flowing through the waters, and they're somebody's I think it is a statue, but it just is like this, it just seems like this beautiful, safe, but also brave, courageous image. Yeah.
I love that. Um, so you've also been talking about like teachers that have influenced your writing. I wonder, um, were you a writer even when you were younger? Like as a child, did you write things?
Oh, I that's a good question. I feel like my memory in terms of writing kind of starts in probably sixth grade, because that's where I feel like that energy was tapped into. Um, Before that is tricky. I spent a lot of time outside playing
Hmm.
and not a whole lot of time being like a bookworm with my journal. I feel like that came after like sixth grade. From sixth grade on, it was just like journals and writing things on pieces of paper, napkins, typing notes into my flip phone, sort of thing. But yeah, I can't say before that it was really, yeah. So I would say that teacher probably sparked something that was laying dormant for me.
I love, and special shout out right now to teachers.
Yeah.
Lots of teachers and professors in Ontario right now in strike position or going on
Mm,
strike. So thinking a lot about how grateful I am for teachers, right?
same. Yeah.
Do you laugh easily? And what was the last thing you laughed at?
Oh, I I can be a pretty serious person, but I do feel like I laugh easily. Probably this dog. That's the easiest answer. It's just she's so obnoxious that like she just makes me laugh. But and every morning I have my kids doing silly things, so they keep me laughing too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. It sounds like a lovely house, your house. I would like to.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about this book, A Porta Potty Rebirth. What was the best thing about writing this book?
I honestly getting it out of my body, to be honest. Like I mean, you read through it. There was some things about this life experience that I had a hard time incorporating into the work. Like there was a very sacred moment while this was happening. Like one section is talking about how I'm miscarrying during like a festival. And this festival was coordinated by a group of women, like it's an organization called Hike It Baby, run by female leaders. And when I began the whole body experience, I had called my midwife and I was like, things are happening. What do you recommend? And she was very concerned. We were pretty far out, like away from a lot of things, like very low cell phone service. And she was basically like, you need to go find somebody to help you.
Oh.
Which is very hard for me because I am very like independent spirit and want to do things for myself, which is one of the pieces in there too. Mm-hmm. So I feel like just having an opportunity to get this out of my body instead of holding on to the trauma of the experience, and the visual, I feel like helped with that as well, because sometimes with words I can get lost in those words, but having the visual kind of made it a little bit more grounding and a little bit more concrete.
Yeah, I love it. I love the dog presence in this like moment of honesty. It feels so right.
I feel like she was coming to take care of me.
Aww.
Hey, sweetie.
Oh, so
I feel like just getting it out so it wasn't finding parts to just like stick into, the way trauma sometimes does if we don't figure out ways to heal from it.
Sure. Usually at this time I ask, what made you want to publish as a chapbook instead of as part of a larger collection? But I feel like this project is so well contained on its own. Does that have to do with the choice to release it as a chapbook? Or maybe the immediacy that you're talking about, or I don't know, why chapbook?
I feel like chapbooks really accommodate that kind of like, as opposed to a longer read in terms of what people are able to take in. I feel like this was a nice way for me to contain and not like, as much as I wanted to let it out of my body, I also know it's a vulnerable place for me to share and also for people to absorb. So with the chapbook, I feel like it was a way for me to contain it in a way where I'm not exposing myself too much, and I'm also not going into a place where this is going to be difficult for other people as well. I tried to manage. Honestly, that wasn't too much on the top of my brain, but I feel like it was subconsciously there a little bit. Like this experience was mine, but I also knew like so many people go through similar experiences, and to just release it from myself and to also share, because it's a experience many people go through.
Yeah, I think the book addresses that tension between the intensely personal and that nod to the universality. I think that's all the way through it. I don't know if we're at 23 or not because they're kept being like sub questions and now I've lost count, but I'm pretty sure I'm not a math person. I'm a book person. But I'm pretty sure we're at question 23, which is the hardest question, the biggest pressure. Can you please describe this chapbook in 3 words and 3 words only?
That is a hard question. Is so body, the words that come to my mind are body, love, and healing. But I don't know if you wanted them to be streamed together in like a cohesive, coherent.
Just perfect.
Body, love, and healing. That's what comes to my mind.
It's what comes out in the book too. I think you nailed it. Gina, thank you so much for trusting us with this book, for bringing this all the way up to Canada.
Oh man,
we're so grateful.
And you all were so. That was another thing, was in terms of making the choice to put it out there. Like, I think it couldn't have landed with better folks. Like you and Kate have been so encouraging and delicate and just supportive. So you have made this experience beautiful. So thank you for that.
Oh gosh, thank you so much. And a thank you from Kate, who is not here, but if she was here, she would compliment you on your earring game. That is for sure gorgeous.
Thank you. These are a birthday present from very special friends.